Hello, this is Dalen75 Games. Welcome back to another Let's Roleplay of Dragon Age Origins. I am the human noble warrior, Aiden Kuzlin, and we are currently in the Shape Rate in Orzammar, trying to find out more about our dwarven allies before I go and confront the politicians and see if they will accept helping me. But from the looks of it, I don't think that they are, and they'll have to settle their dispute between the two successors, because the king recently died. There's a new book, In Praise of the Humble Nug. It's nothing really of importance. Nugs are food, and I think that they can live off rocks and water underground. There's a big, large book here. Orzammar Politics. Now that is something I am after. Orzammar Politics. As dangerous as it is to mistake a dwarf's caste, it is far more deadly to mistake the alliances among the noble houses of Orzammar. Everyone in the city is allied with someone, whether by blood or by word. The nobles do not engage directly in commerce themselves, as that is the domain of the merchant caste, but they do serve as patrons. They invest in shops or in artisans' work, and in turn reap a share of the profits as well as a measure of the credit. Merchants and warriors alike benefit from the service of prestigious patrons. The relative power of each house is ever-changing. It is usually safe to assume that whichever noble house holds the throne is at the top of the heap, but below that things grow into a tangled mess. Houses ally with one another by marriage. They earn rank and prestige when combatants loyal to them or from their own bloodlines win provings. Oh, that's interesting. They earn it when artisans they patronize become sought after or well regarded, or when the merchants they invest in become successful. The degrees of power that these achievements confer is so murky even to the dwarves that it isn't unusual for nobles to challenge each other to the provings over whose smith forges better belt buckles or whose servants have the best manners. Nor is it out of the ordinary to find two merchants arguing over whose noble patron has won the most acclaim, for the rank of the patron is the rank of the client. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the assembly, where the Deshers, representatives of each noble house, meet. Although the king technically rules Orzammar, kings are elected by the assembly, and so each king must work constantly to maintain the support of the Deshers. Kings who prove unpopular find their heirs deemed unacceptable to inherit the throne. Power then passes to another house. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Now, that kind of explains to me what a Desher is. They represent the noble house. I heard Desher being bandied about a few times. I didn't know what it meant. What is this? The Shaper's Life. The blessing of the Shape Rate is given only to those who walk within the stone. It is a path that cuts deep, and the road is far from secure, but those who desire to work in memory must first honor it. Document the stone, protect her, and present a new history of the memories. Only then will the blessing of the Shape Rate be upon you. From the Shaper's Life. I don't really know how that would help me, but there's a few more large books to go through. Dwarven Faith. This is about their ancestor belief, I think. The Chant of Light is almost never heard in the halls of Orzammar, I can tell. This is hardly surprising, for unlike the elves, who were literally abandoned by their gods, or the Tevinters, who worship dragons, the dwarves have no gods at all. Even the concept of worship is foreign in Orzammar. Instead, the dwarves seem to venerate the stone, a name they give to the earth itself. This seems practical for a people living underground, if perhaps a bit unimaginative. For guidance in spiritual matters, they turn to their ancestors. These ancestors, who are said to have returned to the stone, communicate their wishes to the living via brutal trials by combat, called provings. The ancestors' collective wisdom is maintained by the Shape Rate, which can apparently store records in Lyrium itself. Wow. Set above the ancestors, above even kings, are the paragons, dwarves who have achieved such greatness that they elevated almost to godhood. These are the great figures holding up the hallway that lead from the surface. The first glimpse of Orzammar the outsiders see. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, another one by Brother Genetivi. Another book. Legion of the Dead. Now, I heard about this. They're the only ones out there, apparently, right now, in the deep roads. Legion of the Dead. Yes, Stone's greetings, friend. You will fight ceaselessly in the Legion of the Dead. Motto of the Legions of the Dead. The Legion accepts all. So I was told by one of the legionnaires himself, a dwarf who waited quietly at the entrance to the deep roads for the rest of his unit to assemble. They gathered slowly, each equipped with heavy armor and fine weapons, each painted with grim tattoos applied at their funerals the night previous. For that is the nature of the Legion. They are all dead. Any dwarf may join the Legion so long as he is willing to give up everything he has. The funeral rites are somber. A final goodbye is said to family and loved ones. Any material goods are dispersed to the heirs, and last words are said, and then it is done. The new Legionnaire marches out into the deep roads, never to return. The Legion fights against the Darkspawn to the last, striking one final blow against the monsters that have claimed so much of their homeland. In a way, they're kind of like Grey Wardens. I don't think they bring any of the taint into their bodies, though, like we do. Many join the Legion to clear the slate. Criminals join to avoid punishment. The dishonored join so that their houses and families need not suffer on their behalf. The bankrupted join so their debts might be forgiven. A very few join for the last chance at glory, but the Legion takes them too. This group hopes to reach the fabled fortress of Bonamar. Once the Legion's home, associated with the greatest of their paragons, Bonamar is a holy place. Its loss the last great blow against the Dwarven kingdoms, and its recapture would be a glorious signal to all of Orzammar. But capture it or no, all of these warriors will die in the deep roads. It is a sobering thought, and I now know why the dwarves say the Legion's charge is the battlefield's most frightening sight. They have nothing left to lose. Another one by Brother Genetivi. Oh, you can really hear Shale. You're loud. Even though you're not... I thought golems were taller. What happened to you? You're so short. Another book here. Traditional Dwarven folk songs. I don't think that would help me. Nug sits in the mud. Everything is about nugs. Yeah. Oh, Liana. The Gloves of Diligence. Really interesting. Search for the true prophet. Take all. I want to see these gloves, actually. Gloves of Diligence. It's significantly better armor than what I'm wearing, though what I'm wearing has fire resistance. And, well... I mean, look at the... Where is it? Ward Commander gloves. I have 89... I have 32 armor right now. 28 with the Warden Commander gloves. I think I'm going to put on these gloves. Doesn't really depart from how I look, but it's better. Much better protection. Very nice. Okay, let's go. I guess they won't be needing those gloves. There was also a book in there. Actually, I didn't get to see. I think it was a book. We know Wynn likes books. The Search for the True Prophet. Yes. More gifts for people in the party. Now, we've been through the shape right. Let's get back and let's actually go start talking to somebody who's in charge. Harrowmont and Bhelen, Prince Bhelen. So it ends this. It's the farthest one in the farthest building in the Diamond Quarter. This looks like someone's home. Oh no, there's more buildings along there. More normal buildings. Now, what is this place? Looks very important. Very large doors. Hello, dwarf.
Warden, welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Gavorn, top advisor to our good Prince Bhelen. What news do you bring?
You know who I am.
It would be hard not to notice the Grey Warden and his eclectic entourage. I hear you seek the aid of Orzammar's finest.
This treaty obliges Orzammar to send troops to the surface.
Ah, ancient documents indeed. These were signed in the reign of Eithnar Bimo, Paragon and King. That was 16 generations ago. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now.
Battling the Blight is more important than politics.
No one wishes this fight over more than Bhelen. But while it rages, Orzammar can spare no one to combat what may or may not be a new Blight.
There is a Blight happening, I swear it.
I believe you. But what are we to do? If Bhelen followed his heart and sent his men to aid you, Harrowmont would steal his throne. We would defeat the Blight, and return to find our homeland devastated by an incompetent tyrant.
And if you don't fight, your homeland gets destroyed.
Perhaps you could prove to Prince Bhelen your intentions are just. If you show you owe Harrowmont no fealty, I'm sure Bhelen would help you. Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception.
Irrefutable evidence? Which I suppose you have?
I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude.
This sounds shady to me. What kind of evidence?
Harrowmont promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Harrowmont can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harrowmont gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes.
Where did you get the promissory notes?
That's not important. If they ask, say you found them while searching the Shaper's libraries for your treaty.
Yes, this is very shady. Isn't there someone you could report him to?
Normally, the Shapers would handle this sort of accusation. They are the scholars who manage our laws, histories, and genealogies. They are the final arbiters of all disputes in Orzammar. Unfortunately, the Shaper of Memories is the most important among them, and his grandfather was Lord Harrowmont's aunt's first cousin. Obviously, we cannot expect him to offer an unbiased opinion.
Aunt's first cousin, okay. He'd hold a distant relative over his duty?
I guess I can't expect you surfacers to understand the importance of family in Orzammar. The Shaper is biased, and if you want Prince Bhelen's help, you'll have to show where your loyalties lie. Will you do it?
Well, I'm not going to burn any bridges at the moment. I'll have to think about this.
Don't expect this offer to last. If my prince hears you swore allegiance to his enemy, he won't be so friendly next time. I will be here if you change your mind.
Very bad feeling from that. Can I enter?
The assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
Sounds good.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Bhelen's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions.
Hello, Stuart.
Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the Assembly of the Clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in.
You don't recognize the Grey Warden?
Forgive me. I am so exhausted. I completely forgot about the message from the gate guard. Welcome to Orzammar, Warden. I hope you can forgive our unrest. The loss of our king has hit us hard. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne.
A blight is coming.
Troubling, but it will still seem distant compared to the empty throne. The Assembly is blind to all else.
Does this city not care the world is about to end?
This is their world, and it ended when Endron died.
Is there any way I can break this stalemate?
I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Bhelen or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. Dulin Verender, Harrowmont's man, can be found at the Harrowmont estate. Vartag Gavorn, Prince Bhelen's second, is often here in the assembly. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
Alright then. Let's go see if we can speak to Harrowmont or Prince Bhelen. I don't know if I want to even speak to Prince Bhelen. The more I get to know about him, the less I like. Hello.
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Verender, second to Lord Harrowmont, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight. It is shameful we are not in a better position to help.
I was going to look for you, actually. I have a treaty obliging Orzammar to aid against the blight.
That may be, and that is a terrible risk for the surface. But even if the world would end tomorrow, Lord Harrowmont cannot ignore Bhelen today. He cannot afford to trust anyone of unproven loyalties.
Vartag wants me to besmirch Harrowmont's reputation.
I see. Well, it hardly increases my confidence to hear that you went to him first. I assume you refused?
I'm looking for a better offer.
If you want Lord Harrowmont's assistance, first you'll have to prove he can trust you.
What do you want me to do? Denounce Bhelen publicly?
If you wish to show you have no loyalty to Bhelen, then work against him in Harrowmont's name. Bhelen is hosting a proving today, supposedly to honor his father's memory. The Deshers take it very seriously, and unfortunately, Bhelen found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down.
So you'd like me to enter the proving in Harrowmont's name?
It would certainly make your loyalties loud and clear. Bhelen would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then.
Well, this seems to be the way to speak to them. I'll enter the proving and see why the others withdrew.
Excellent. The arena is located off the Commons. Talk to the proving master and tell him you're entering Lord Harrowmont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Beisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
I know that place. Just there. Alright, seems like we've already chosen Lord Harrowmont. Let's see, I assume their estates are up here as well.
Lord Bhelen's impending marriage to a castless proves his dedication to change. No dwarf is without worth, he has been heard to say. News of the hour. Support Lord Bhelen at your peril.
Yeah.
Evidence suggests Lord Bhelen considering widespread military draft.
This is the estate of Lord Harrowmont. Hello?
If you're looking for Lord Dulin Verender, you'll find him at Tapster's, taking his evening drink.
Okay. Well, I would like to speak to Lord Harrowmont myself. Hello, guard.
These are the personal apartments of High General Lord Harrowmont. No visitors are allowed at this time.
So be it. And what's down here? I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's like apartment building, but you're, yeah. Because that was his personal quarters up there, and there's looks like I can go in here. Oh, it's full of dwarves. There's a chest over there that Liliana's gonna go open up.
On my way.
Hello, ma'am.
You must be under great strain with the blight upon the land. I will pray to the stone for you.
Thank you very much. Scroll here. if I could... There. Right there. New Codex, letter from King Endrin. My Lord Harrowmont, my guilt weighs heavily on me, and I know now that I was a fool. Only a fool would cut out his own heart and burn it for the sake of appearances. I allowed the assembly to send my child to exile and death because I feared an inquiry into Trian's murder would taint our house with scandal. You have been my rock and my shield these long months, and for that I thank you, but I must ask for one thing more. I wish to discover if my child survived. Even the smallest trace will set my mind at ease. Send your men, your scouts, anyone who will go. Bhelen thinks I am mad. He says that if word spreads of my wish, our house will be undone. He doesn't know that Adukin is already lost. I destroyed us when this is the family. I destroyed us when I sacrificed what was most precious. Please, Pyro, help me. I come to you not as a king, but as a father. A note from the late king Adukin, Endrin Adukin. And Liliana, if you can open this, please. Silk carpet. A little bit of thievery, but Liliana's kind of doing that on her own. Okay, so let's, there's nothing more we can do here. I suppose we can go to Prince Bhelen's estate. If it's here, did we pass it? Where's my royal palace? I think that that was it. It's the royal palace back here.
News of the hour! Questions remain and Lord Bhelen's involvement.
Royal palace is different from the assembly.
Raise your voice in favor of Lord Bhelen.
Hello?
Ancestors watch your path, Reward.
Very well.
This is the royal palace. Dwarves have no formal religion, instead venerating the paragons, those of their ancestors who have contributed in some meaningful way to society. Alright. Well, the guards here, Royal Guard, are already dressed different from any other guards I've seen. So I'm going to end the video here, guys, and we'll have to find out what I find in the Orzammar Royal Palace in the next video. Thanks for watching, and more to come.